So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Insights and Innovation series for this week. So today we have Nexxen. Now, Nexxen, formerly known as Amobee, but this is their new fantastic name. Our amazing guest and friend Lenny is going to be giving us two things. Firstly, a bit of an update and kind of market update of the name change and what's happening with them, reintroduction and what they do. And the second part is also talking about FAST. So FAST is free ad-supported streaming television. God, I think I got that right. Learn something new every day. Talk about teaching an old dog new tricks. We asked a few questions about this in our recent survey, and 50% of our members said it's important and 20% said it's very important. So you guys need and want to know about this. A little bit about Nexxen as well. They are a good friend of the IMAA. They supported our WA event and also put on a beautiful dinner for us up in Cairns. So I want to say thank you for your support. But without further ado, Lenny, over to you to take things over.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to get ready to share my screen and then we'll kick off. Cool. Everyone see that? Perfect. All right, cool. So today, as a way of agenda, I guess what we are going to do is, as Sam said, so I'm going to take you through to a bit of a reintroduction to who we are with the consolidation of our brands. You'll see there's a bunch more capabilities that ended up on our umbrella now, which hopefully we can talk through today. But the more important thing is we will be then jumping in and giving you guys a bit of an insights and education session into fast video formats, which we see as a bit of an emerging channel across the market right now. Cool. So, we had a video in that. So Nexxen. So you guys would remember us as Amobee and Unruly previously. So with that under one brand, we are Nexxen. It's a bit of a hat tip to the end-to-end nature of our platform. So it's a I forget the name for it, but essentially spelled the same way, both from front to back. The way we kind of help agencies, I guess, is through three different ways. And the first is offering a bit more flexibility in the way they use media buying platforms with the DMP and the help of an associated SSP. It firstly gives you broader transparency, so essentially knowing those audiences and your supply with a lot greater transparency. And then lastly, it's efficiency, right? So in terms of all that middlemen taking bits and pieces off your CPMs, we seem to think that we give you greater efficiency with that buying transaction. The one platform really houses everything. So we have from planning, we have CTV and how to home planners, as well as a new dashboard that just came out last week, which helps you plan across linear and CTV. With that, we're able to then activate and measure across those audiences as well. One thing new to our stack, though, is the SSP. So with the Unruly acquisition, it's enabled us to then have an SSP now that sits natively connected to our DSP, and that then gives you a bunch of different capabilities like yield management and optimization, as well as some end-to-end reporting. So guess you can probably decide what happens to this slide, but look, the media ecosystem right now is very fragmented, by way of planning to that end measurement. There's a bunch of different platforms that we use for that day to day. I guess, look, what we think we're going to solve in this is to hopefully bring those pieces together and being able to use that data across planning all the way to your measurement. And these are the kind of core capabilities we see as forming that. And then this is the last slide about us, but look, at a really high level, this is really what our tech stack looks like. So from the way on the left, we have our Nexxen Discovery, which was, for those of you that know, was the Amobee brand intelligence tool for the last couple of years. That then moves, I guess, for the advertiser side, all the way from TV planning to the DSP and the SSP if they want those capabilities. New to our stack is obviously that publisher feature side, so we're able to then do a bit more on TV planning, as well as access to an SSP and ad server. All of that is underpinned by our data sets. So in this market, we have proprietary data, which gives us access to about 24 million devices, which is all available for targeting and planning. So that's it about us. Super quick reintroduction into who we are and our brands and the technology. If you guys have any other questions, hit me up. But today is about FAST. So what is FAST and how does it fit into our current strategies and into the current kind of media landscape? So again, at a glance, the CTV ecosystem consists of about 4 different types of channels. The first being BVOD, broadcast video on demand, available currently. We all possibly use it across our campaigns right now for video anyways. There's AVOD, which is advertising video on demand, and this is your subscription services that are now offering a lower tier cost subscription where they can actually then run ads in. Thirdly is SVOD. So this is subscription on demand. Now, again, no ads in here. This is totally ad free, but again, high subscription costs and a bit more kind of a bit easier if you want to binge out a couple of shows. And then lastly, what we're here to talk about today is FAST. And this, as Sam kind of strung together at the start, was free ad-supported streaming television. Now, what this means is it's almost like a similar type of linear type of formatting where there's that one show after the other, but it's essentially available via connected TVs. So how is it actually supported across our different media types? So firstly, there's a service provider. Now, Plex and Fetch are probably one of the better known ones in this market. Again, these are apps that you can download on your Apple TV, your Chromecast, even some OEM manufacturers offer that on. You can also get this via broadcaster. And this is where it starts to get a bit blurry now. So broadcasters, as well as having their BVOD supply, also have a FAST component to that as well. And what this is I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 7 or 10 play apps on your TVs, is they have a bunch of these extension channels that form part of their viewing catalog. And what that is exactly like what I mentioned earlier, is that linear formatted type of viewing experience, right? Where it's like one show after the other. You don't need to touch the remote. You can just let it click over. And 7 and 10 play both have these type of content categories where there's either a specific content type, whether that be DIY, for example, or it's just a continuous loop of just randomly TV shows. With new to the market and what we're seeing a bit more of, and consumption actually increasing, is with the OEM and operating system manufacturers. So this is, think about this as your actual TV manufacturers, your Samsungs, your LGs, that have an operating system built in. So, a lot of us that don't have a Chromecast or an Apple TV, this is probably the first choice that we use when we look at connected TV, is how we actually then access those apps. So Hisense, which is Vita, as well as Samsung, have these both components in. The content in here is a little bit different to what we might see across the broadcasters, whereas this will be a single show. So you might see Baywatch, or you might see, Top Gear, and that's just the same show over and over again with ads in between. So as I kind of alluded to earlier, the content-wise, there's probably 2 types of ways we will actually use targeting for FAST. The first is by way of content. So this is using audiences that index highly towards what your target demo is. So, for example, if I wanted to target dads, or for a Father's Day campaign, Top Gear probably be a good way to go. They'd probably index really highly with that male demographic. So, and similar to Family Feuds, and The Bachelor, and those types of contents as well. The second way is by using data, how we normally target in the programmatic ecosystem. And what this is using data from those manufacturers. So both Samsung, Hisense, TCL would have a bit more information, or granular information, about the users that are actually accessing this type of technology. And what it might be is, it might be content based. So yeah, people are interested in cars or food, or movies or lifestyle type shows. But what we are seeing though is Australia has about 200 channels right now. This is growing by about like 10 to 15 channels a week. So as more and more content gets pulled on, and people find little niches in type of content delivery, we're seeing this spread out even further. So we do see it as a bit of an incremental audience play as well as a total reach play. Cool. So we have a ton of experience running with fast and video formats in the past, as well as offering the BVOD, kind of BVOD, the standard BVOD structure. We really see fast as an emerging format and one that we can get true incremental reach out of. The users that don't have access to a subscription streaming service are most likely consuming that type of content on a fast type service. And what that means for us is, look, it definitely is part of a total strategy. It's not a single strategy. It's a singular tactic that should be part of your broader TV and video strategy. So way we've been kind of doing this to date is both with kind of with fast formats, but also backing that up with BVOD and AVOD where we can. So this really helps us then build out some really incremental reach figures. And I think to date, we've seen increases of about the like 10 to 13% mark, which is really good for us to build on across BVOD. And then lastly, we've been through the activation and what is fast. And, lastly, we do want to measure it as part of our total stack. And what this means is then being able to do things like an overlap analysis to see how many users are consuming content across both 9, 7, Netflix and Samsung TV. So it does not, we don't then silo fast into a specific channel format. We think about it as, again, a tactic as part of your broader video strategy. And by way of doing that, we provide these reports. And this is, I guess, something that you can possibly pull yourself as well in the platform, but essentially gives you what your overlap is across those publishers, where essentially your sweet spot for your frequency is, right? Like, where does efficiency start to taper off and costs start to increase? And this is a really good way for us to understand that, as well as the True Reach report, which uses ABS data to understand things like how many people were actually in the household when your ad played, or how many people a crossover from our linear activity to our BVOD activity. So that's, super helpful for understanding whether the campaign actually, it's a validated campaign successfulness. And then lastly, look, a lot of this data, although we do say we can use it at the back end for measurement, we do store it and use it for planning as well. So if you, I guess more so if you are a BVOD heavy buyer and you then want to understand, how do I plan more effectively instead of just refining off reports, we have some really interesting dashboards built off this exact data that goes through the planning cycle. So, if you do want to plan across your BVOD, even linear and fast channels, how do you exactly get the most out of your dollars spent? And that's pretty much it, guys. Super, super short and sweet today. Hopefully we give you back some time in your day.